Yo ho ho! What's going on, boys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you One Punch Man, chapter 159 review. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and leave your comments below on what your opinion is on the thoughts that we're going to discuss in this video. 159 was a game changer for a chapter. We got some definitive moments in the series, some definitive actions that not only progress the character, in particular Garou, to a point that's almost unrivaled so far in the series, but it was backed with amazing art, and we also now have a lot more room to contemplate the reality of the situation on the battlefield, what it really means to have ended the war. Haven't really seen anybody talk about that, so I guess we'll talk about that as well. So to start us off, a Mind Mask is back. We were talking about, speculating what was going to be the final resolution, the final result, what's actually going on with a Mind Mask. We saw him get in a redraw, saw Do-S like stab through his face and leave it cratered. Then he healed it up quickly. We've had him talk about other people being monsters and where they got their powers from, but Amai himself has always been a peculiar character. Really aggressive, really determined. You would damn near say evil with some of his actions, but not to the extent to where he's disregarding his hero duties, or to where they're in exact contradiction of his hero duties. Maybe you could say those prisoner monsters, they shouldn't have been killed, but whatever the case is, they're monsters. So now we have a Mind Mask back after we saw what Fear Ugly did to him. Ripped him in half, bro. Like it was a meal. Had his intestines all hanging out. We saw what actually happened. It was blacked out. It was silhouetted out, but that was the reality of the situation. And now a Mind Mask is back, completely healed, with his legs, with his clothes, pants, and his shirt split as evidence of what actually happened to him. So what does this say about Mind Mask? Is this the strongest regeneration capability that we have aside from Zombie Man? Regenerative capability that we have? I don't know. You know, Pig God was able to take a lot, since we're talking about people on the panel right now. Pig God has taken a lot of damage before, but it's not regeneration. We've seen Super Mouse have some pretty great regeneration on the monster side. But it's almost as if it's different. Almost as if it's not exactly the same. It looks similar to a Sage Centipede and other centipedes where, like, well, Elder Centipede kind of like molt. But Sage, to a degree, he did like heal up. It wasn't just like him coming out with a new face every single time. So I'm wondering, like, how peculiar is a Mind Mask regeneration? And why can you regenerate? He's still holding his face as well. Like, I don't know. There's some weird stuff that happened in this chapter. And the reason why I'm having trouble, like, alright, let me put it like this. I feel like Amai is an Ugmon, but I don't have anything to say that. It's more of like a reflective, the whole mirror dimension, mirror realm, or like mirror room thing that Fear was in the beginning of the fight that they had their first encounter. That's what's making me think that a Mind Mask is an Ugmon. Now, we never saw the one Ugmon we've seen in the series regenerate. So that's one of the first key details that breaks that thought process. Like, the abilities that an Ugmon would have, Amai doesn't seem to, like, compare. So, what is Amai? Are you like Zombie Man? Because that's the only other person that's closest to, besides some of the other monsters that we've seen. Amai isn't perfectly human, but we've already known that. But the question is, what exactly is he? Because this doesn't like deter his motives. He's not acting differently when he's in his mode. Sure, he's more aggressive. He's willing to kill the innocent, but we'll see what happens there. But I'm very interested into what Pig God actually is, because I don't think we can say he's an Ugmon anymore. Pig God. Skinny Pig God. Does he have like strength and skill and like abilities? Does he lose all the stuff that he had, his durability and stuff like that, when he's in his skinny form? Or like, does this skinny pig guy have the same capabilities as when he did when he was much larger? Is this the power up or the secret power that he was talking about? I don't think so. And the fact that he's having to eat makes me think that this is just some type of like hyper metabolism issue or situation like that, to where he has to be constantly eating in order to, I don't know. Is he gonna burn out? Because he's using all the energy that he has. So this is making me believe that like his body has a problem to where he uses his energy requirement is way too high, and if he doesn't have it, he'll die. Which is okay, logical, sensible, reasonable, plausible, I believe. In my personal opinion, I'm not a medical specialist, but like, does this mean that the pig god we're seeing right now is malnourished? Is like weak? So I'm trying to figure out, because the last time we saw Pig God in reference to like a cool reveal was when we heard about him having a secret power that he's holding back. And now is this instance to where he's skinny. So that's what makes me question, is skinny Pig God as strong as fat Pig God? He obviously is eating for a reason. Those are questions to think about in the forward progress of Pig God's character, because he is more noble of most of the heroes. And I don't know if you guys remember or not. Should do more rereads in order to do that. Remember a lot more of these points. But a lot of the monster's criticism of the heroes this arc has been about their egos, their pridefulness, the fact that they're not really here to like primarily save or protect individuals as their main objective actually is, but it is to showboat, to have fun, to fight, to attain glory in these obstacles. That's their main focus and their principal goal for a lot of these heroes, and it's been confirmed. So Pig God hasn't had that same mentality. He hasn't shown those same, I guess, traits or tendencies, and he's actually been more heroic or saved individuals more often than anybody else. So I wouldn't be surprised if next arc we elaborate more so on Pig God, but what is there to elaborate on? That's the whole question. Like, I don't know. So it wasn't that long of a chapter, but moving forward from Pig God, we go on to Sage Centipede. Now, this is the chapter where Sage Centipede gets defeated. A lot of times in podcasts, either when a character first shows up or when they die and they're gone, we give him like a whole spiel, an overall general thoughts on their character as a whole, the impact that they played in the story. I think Sage was very controversial. We weren't expecting Sage to show up, and we still don't know exactly what part he played, besides helping boost Garou up further. But a lot of individuals felt that like Platinum Sperm could have played that role, or that Sage himself pushed or shoved Platinum Sperm out of the way to get that chance to do that. Whatever the case is, whatever the reality is, not only our sentiment, but what actually happened in regards to the author and Murata together and decision making. Sage, I think, has had enough time on screen to be given a fair assessment of his capabilities. His dialogue was lacking for what it was there for. I didn't like that we didn't get more mentions or more callbacks to God, besides the whole moon in the background of the fight in multiple different panels. I like his design, or how Murata was drawing him. I didn't like the arms in general, but they became very tolerable very quickly. Very quickly. They weren't an issue whatsoever. I wished... I don't want to say that Sage is more involved, but like hostage tactics, and just how much thinking he was doing it contrasted completely different to Elder Centipede. And I revere Elder Centipede as a great experience in One Punch Man. His attendance and full fight up against Bang, Bomb, and Genos was spectacular. So though Sage didn't get the same chance or the same opportunity, the same page number to display the same thing, it was interesting. I'll say that. I'll say that the fact that I feel disappointed to a certain extent is because he did give glimpses or show that he had the potential of being a much more likable or a much more in-depth character. But unfortunately, because of the circumstance, and I don't know the circumstance because I don't know the rush, he's gotten taken out. I don't know. I don't want to say that Sage got defeated too early because I honestly was looking forward to the end of his to the end of his stay, but I wasn't looking towards the end of Platinum stay or even Natural Ocean stay. So it's not like I'm hurrying along in the arc, but I definitely want to see more of certain types of characters, more of certain types of individuals that are already obstacles in the storyline that could be built upon more so. I guess we're never gonna really get an answer to the whole question of whether Sage was Orochi, or if Orochi was somehow affiliated with Sage, or if Orochi was the offering for Sage. We're not gonna get that clarification from Sage himself. Maybe in consecutive chapters, God or Murata will have another character elaborate upon that or give more information upon that. Maybe Ibarato Ocean really isn't that. Whatever the case may be, we're not gonna get a definitive answer to that from this character. So it's going to be difficult, or there's more chance for speculation amongst the community for the question of, is Orochi dead or not? Is Orochi dead? What was Sage Centipede's real purpose? So I guess we have to remember that at a certain point, and often done in One Punch Man, one chooses to not elaborate upon certain ideas for a reason. He gives you a certain presentation of a character, or a certain presentation of a technique, or a skill, or an event, and then it's just that. And it's contained to just that. And that's what we have to derive information from. Or you get into some different other sources like data books or audio books where they don't have a chance for the ability, or they're not going to go into that much detail, and that's the entirety of the information that we have for that scenario there. I can't say that Sage is Orochi, or that Sage has anything to do with Orochi. He has something to do with God, and I'm disappointed that we didn't hear more about that, because what's next? That's kind of what I'm alluding to is going to be the future, or the next step in this conversation in regards to what the progression of the storyline is, the plot is. No, we should talk about it now. The battle's over. Technically, the battle's over. The offense of the association, Tatsumaki, Atomic Samurai, Genos, Darkshine, they're down. The boys are down. The reinforcements, Flashy, the support team, everybody's out of commission or out of range. The cover page shows Saitama coming out of the water. And the cover page before that we got a few chapters before, when it was Flashy, Platinum, and Garou fighting, it was their three pictures with like a ripped open page and Saitama on the other side of it, looking back at them. Almost as if acknowledging that Saitama is aware that somebody's fighting. So, if the combatants from the Hero Association are out of commission, and the last remnants of the Monster Association, if they could even be called that, are now out of commission as well, who's left to interfere between a confrontation between Garou and Saitama? Are we not to assume or predict that because Garou said, my fist is perfected, that he can now present the epitome of martial arts to Saitama? We previously saw what martial arts could present to Saitama in the Super Tournament arc, but that was unsatisfactory. And we saw what type of challenge Goketsu presented. And it was almost as if that was a finality of what martial arts was supposed to be in regards to Saitama. Like, he wasn't going to explore martial arts anymore. But Bang is still around. So, Perfect Fist Garou, boosted up by Metal Bat capable of busting right through Sage's centipede, a centipede armor. Incredible. His chop attack that he had a flashback for, which is a badass flashback, managed to break straight through and literally cut in half the entirety of Sage. So what's left for Garou? I don't know. I enjoyed the flashback. I enjoyed seeing Garou give a callback to the fact of his beginning moments. I love seeing when he first showed up to the dojo. This kind of solidifies the fact that he's not a monster right now. This is not Monster Garou. He's not. So something's going to have to happen in order to push him more to that edge for it to be a problem that way. Or he's going to fight Saitama as a human. And that's preferable, because that's the best chance we have of keeping Garou in the storyline, in the story of One Punch Man, alive. That's what we want. At the end of all the reviews, we've been doing this for a few weeks now, a few chapters now. We're going to continue to do it as a habit perpetually. We're going to compare and contrast the skill levels in regards to stocks for our tier list, for which characters have done the best, which characters are lacking in their position, and which characters showed out in the particular chapter. Now, I only have 2 individuals that I think are moving, but I'm going to go to the list now just to see if anybody else should also be moving up. So I have both Sage and Garou, in consequence of this chapter, going up. Sage is really big. I think Sage may be the biggest monster in the series. Way bigger than Beefcake. The cicada things are nowhere in comparison. And even Natural Ocean was gargantuan, but like, Sage was so high up that even though it was nighttime on the side of the earth that they were, he started to like get hit by some of the sunlight of the sun. It just shows you how far up Garou went, flew up, like, to have to punch through all of that. That's much larger than Elder Centipede. Much larger than an Elder Centipede. And he did that. The feat that Garou just did, this chop, is a greater feat than Saitama's punch against Elder Centipede. And I say it was stronger. Then I say that Garou's chop was stronger than Saitama's punch. I said that the feat was greater. So that's why I have to say that, like, Sage took a beating, and because he was a Centipede, because of who he is, we judged his durability to be a base factor. And we weren't wrong. The story elaborated upon that and emphasized that, yeah, his durability, his strength, his defensive capabilities are his primary aspect, as well as his regeneration. But it was just still top tier attributes that most of the characters on this list would not be able to compete up against. So I am moving Sage Centipede up. I think that he would be able to survive an assault from the meteor. I think, yeah, man. I think Sage Centipede is right there with even Natural Ocean. He's just gargantuan, but even Natural Ocean's Grand Ocean Cannon was pretty powerful, pretty big. I might have to keep it there. Let's scroll through the tier list real fast so you guys can see. Oh yeah, so somebody updated it and put this new metal bat. Okay, or they put new metal bat. All right, so we're taking this old metal bat out and we're putting Fighting Spirit metal bat in. Did a tremendous job. Yeah, with that presentation up against Sage, man. Yeah, the top echelon of metal bat is definitely up here right now. I would damn near even say let's not get too greedy. I definitely think he could definitely beat Darkshine and Carnage in this state. But man, if he took some hits, man, if he takes some hits, he'll be out. He'll be out. But you gotta hit him good. You gotta hit Metal Bat real good. Let's see here. So that tier 41 is good. They're good. BC's good. Fubuki. Maybe. Okay. I might have to rearrange some of these demons here up in this range because this reread is making me think of some things a little bit more different. It's fine right here. Yeah. Zombie man. Yeah, I disagree with that. I'm definitely doing that right there. We gotta finish the video quick because review's not supposed to be long. 21 minutes already. Yeah, we're out of here. So those are the biggest changes that we're gonna do. We're gonna have Sage Centipede and Garou both move up. They're still not going to be competing with Boros' ship with a single assault. Well, it is competition because they're in the same tier, so. And maybe we should add tiers for reevaluate. I haven't had a chance to actually give this a full good look again. This is just, remember, we're going week to week, week to week, week to week, week to week. So that's why it's important to do reread so you can get the whole storyline in one condensed piece again and see what the entirety of the message is in one good look as a whole, not just putting puzzle pieces together because you don't get the full picture. But yeah, so those are the changes that I think should be made. Yeah, man. Yo ho ho!